People that have been to heaven and hell, part 1.
Jordan Samuel believes that he's been to heaven and hell. When Jordan was 15, he was raised by a single mom because his parents had split up.
Being a curious kid, he would always ask questions about God. Like, how does he exist? How could one man die for me? And every time he would get kicked out of class for questioning it. The third time he got kicked out, he said, I'm done. I'm never believing in God again.
When his parents split up, Jordan for 4 years was doing bad behaviors. He would steal cars, street race, and drink and drive. After a while, he wanted to change his life, so he started working at an oil rig company.
One day after work, Jordan decided to smoke. But he didn't know that what he was smoking was laced with other drugs.
His heart started fluttering and he went out.
He said he started hearing screaming and people telling him to go back, run.
He said it sounded like people were being tortured. All of a sudden, a bright hand reached out and grabbed him.
He said that God started to judge him and he felt horrible. The Lord hugged him and said, I forgive you. And he woke up.
His girlfriend says he's in a better mood, he smiles more, and his personality has changed.
Do you think he was visited by God or was it one big hallucination? Like this video if you want a part 2 of people who've been to heaven and hell.
Hey Rusty, I don't have a snack, but I do have my boba drink, but you should get a snack. It's story time! So this story is actually from somebody where I grew up. Well, I grew up nearby. Anyway, this story is from this girl and she lived in Newark, New Jersey. So this happened in Newark, New Jersey. So if you live in Newark, you know there's a lot of Haitians, Africans, like Caribbean. There's a lot of Caribbeans. And she used to live in this apartment building, right? And next door to her was this Haitian lady that used to live there. She remembers like growing up in that apartment building. Like she always saw the Haitian lady and the Haitian lady would like say hi to her and she'll say hi to the Haitian lady back. But they never really like made conversation. But she basically grew up right in front of the lady's eyes because ever since she was younger, the lady was living there and they lived there for years. So over the years, the older she got, the more of a connection that they made, even though like they don't really speak like that, but it's more so like, damn, that's my lady. And vice versa, like that Haitian lady will look out for her. Anyway, so she got older. She's about 19. She goes to college, right? So she's not at home as much. While she's in college, she makes this friend. And this friend is very curious about voodoo, something she was never even interested about. But that friend, you know, which is a very good friend, is also very interested into voodoo. Wow, I can't talk. She don't really care because she don't know much about it, and she's not a very religious person either. That's her friend, and, you know, she do what she do. Now, looking back, there are a lot of red flags in that friend that she should have seen and stop being friends with her, but, you know, she's young and dumb. For example, like the friend would get not upset, not mad, but you could tell it bothered the friend whenever she had really good grades and the friend was slacking that semester. Anyways, it's Christmas, so it's time for her to go back home. And she goes back home and the first person she sees is this, oh, damn. Okay. The first person she sees is the Haitian lady and she says hi to her. And the Haitian lady says hi to her back, but then paused and just started looking at her. Did we give her a name? Let's call her Patricia. So Patricia's looking back at the Haitian lady like, you okay? Like, did I do something? The Haitian lady is like, you look different. And Patricia's like, yeah, I know. I lost a little bit of weight. You know, college is stressful. And the Haitian lady says, okay, be careful. And then they go about their ways. The next day, Patricia wakes up and she has a slight cold, nothing major. So she decides she's going to go and get some medicine. And on her way out, she sees the Haitian lady again. And so she greets her and the Haitian lady looks at her again and was like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. I have a slight cold, which is why, like, you know, I'm about to go to the store right now to get some medicine. The Haitian lady is looking at her like, something's wrong. Patricia's just sitting there like, what you mean? And for the first time in all of these years that they lived together, the Haitian lady was like, come into my apartment. She's a little weirded out, but she's like, okay. And she goes in there and the Haitian lady makes her sit down. And I'm not going to say what she says next because y'all love to try stuff. But she definitely took some materials and did some things around her. And when she was done, the Haitian lady looked her dead in the eye and said, that friend you made in college is not your friend. So she was like, what the hell? What? And she says again, that friend that you made in college who thinks she knows what she's doing when it comes to magic, she don't know what she's doing. Not only that, but she's not your friend. And she says, I'm going to clean you right now. I'm going to cleanse you. But when you go back to college, you need to stay away from her. So obviously, Patricia's all confused. So she's like, I don't know what are you talking about? So basically, the Haitian lady says that girl who don't know what she's doing is trying to hex her. And that girl is very jealous of her. But because she don't know what she's doing, whatever she's doing is sort of kind of affecting her, but not really. But if she keeps going, it could affect her. But the Haitian lady is like, don't worry, I got you. I'm going to get rid of that from you right now as we're here. And if you don't believe me, when you go back to her in college, you will see how she acts towards you because I'm about to get rid of all that stuff from you. And she proceeds to tell her, like, I basically watched you grow up. You're like my daughter. We don't speak much, but I watched you grow up from since you were little, and now you're in college. So Patricia says thank you to her. They did what they have to do. And funny enough, after she did what she had to do, Patricia didn't feel sick anymore. It's like the cold magically disappeared. And guess what, y'all? When she decided to go back to college, when she got back on campus, why was that girl trying to find any reason to beef with Patricia? Just like the Haitian lady said. At one point, she was even popping up at her dorm at night to fight her for no reason. And the girl ended up getting expelled from the college because of how much she started being so, like, weird to Patricia. Mind you, all Patricia tried to do was stay away from her, just like the Haitian lady said. Now, Patricia no longer lives in Newark, New Jersey anymore. She, graduated college and she moved out of state. But she does say she keeps in contact with her. And I love that. As for you, if you haven't gotten my ebook yet to protect yourself from things like that, because there are people in your life that you don't even know are trying to do hex on you. I literally have a few stories down of somebody literally saying how I changed their lives with that ebook. I didn't even expect that. But if you want to keep yourself protected, the link is in the bio. Click the link tree, and the book is called Cleansed and Covered.
Don't watch this video at night when you're trying to go to bed, especially if you sleep alone. You've been warned. The story that was sent to me by somebody who wishes to remain anonymous has got to be the creepiest thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't know if y'all are ready for this one. I know I wasn't. If you made it this far, you probably love scary stuff as much as I do. Just remember, you asked for this. You stayed. Let's get into it. For the sake of the story, we will call this person Becky. So Becky's lived in her house for 2 years on September 1st. She's heard noises a few times during those years, but she's never experienced anything that really scared her to her core until recently. Earlier this year, her father was diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer. Her and her dad were extremely close, and sadly, he lost his battle on June 30th. A few months prior to his passing, he was placed on hospice. However, he was still alert and oriented. One day, Becky, her fiance, and her son were all driving to dinner when her son said, "Mom, I need to tell you something." Becky was like, "Okay, what's up?" Becky's fiance looks at her and says, "Just listen to him. He already told me this morning." Her son proceeds to tell her, "Mom, I saw Papaw." Becky was like, "Yeah, son, we go see Papaw every day." He said, "No, Mom, I saw Papaw in our house. I saw him 3 times. One time he was standing in my doorway just looking at me. And the second time he was running by my door and went into your room. And then the third time I only saw his face and he was just peeking in the doorway at me." He then told his mom he wasn't sick Papaw, he was normal Papaw. He went on to tell Becky what her dad was wearing, and he described exactly what her dad's work uniform was. Becky immediately started hysterically crying, and she was like, "Oh my god, I have to call my dad." She called her dad and everything was fine. He felt fine, nothing was wrong. He was more worried about her. Fast forward to now last week, Becky was laying on the couch talking to one of her best friends. It was the middle of the night because she's a night shift worker and her friend goes into work in the middle of the night. She hangs up the phone with her best friend and it was around 3:30 in the morning. A few minutes go by and she sees this dark figure that's like 6-7 foot tall that looks like it's wearing some kind of cloak of some type go from her son's room down the hallway to her room. She was frozen in fear and texted her best friend what she saw. That evening, before going into work again, she decided to tell her fiance what she had seen. He was hesitant to do so because he doesn't really believe in a lot of things. Nonetheless, she tells him and he just stared at her. She's like, "I know you don't believe me." He said, "No, Becky, on Wednesday night while you were sleeping, I saw it twice." He said it was just standing on your side of the bed and just staring at me. He saw it once at 1:30 in the morning and then he went back to sleep and saw it again when he got up to get ready for work at like 4:30 in the morning. And he said that time he blinked and it was gone. He said he didn't tell her because he didn't want to scare her, but also he just didn't think she'd believe him. Towards the end of summer, he got up in the middle of the night one night and Becky felt him get up and then get back into bed, but she felt somebody standing behind her staring at her. He said she was too scared to roll over and look. She could feel it staring at her. Fast forward to this past weekend, her son comes to her again and says, "Mom, I need to tell you something." He proceeds to tell her that while he was using the bathroom a few minutes ago, he felt like somebody was watching him. He said he turned to look and there was a dark figure standing in Becky's bedroom doorway, leaning out looking at him. He said he could see what looked like stringy hair hanging down. Whatever this is, she's terrified that it took on the identity of her dad and that maybe her son has welcomed it into their home. She's looking for help, answers, anything. She needs advice. She's desperate for advice and suggestions on how to get this thing out of her house. She feels like she's tried everything. The only other weird thing that she's noticed is that all of a sudden she's being overran by spiders, but that just might be the time of the year, but it hasn't happened in years past. Can't wait to hear what y'all think about this one in the comments. As always, send me your scary stories.
Can we show them the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
It went to both.
Yeah.
One of my favorite hobbies is reading scary stories on Reddit, so let's read some together. When I was about 14, my parents left me alone overnight for the first time. I grew up in a small farming community, so my parents really had nothing to worry about. They left and I decided to take an awesome bubble bath and paint my nails like all girls everywhere, obviously. While I was in the bath, I heard our back door open. I thought I was hearing things, and besides, I had locked all the doors per my mom's orders. But then I heard the kitchen floor squeaky spot. I didn't know what to do, so I just went under the bubbles and left my head out. I saw 2 shoes through the crack between the door and the floor. I could hear a person breathing. They stood there for about 30 seconds and then walked away. I heard the door slam, but I didn't move. I just stayed there until the water was freezing and cried. Then I got out, called my grandma, and checked the doors. The back door was unlocked and the lock hadn't been messed with or broken. Later that week, we learned that a man was breaking into farmhouses. Literally one of my worst fears, like anytime I'm taking a bath or a shower, I always feel like I hear somebody breaking into my house. I just moved into a basement suite. Every time I went out, I would lock the deadbolt, but not the door handle. But when I came home, a lot of the time the deadbolt would be unlocked and the door handle would be locked. At first, I thought I was just confused about which one I had locked, so I started paying more attention. It kept happening, and I realized someone must be going in when I went out. I assumed it was the landlady and was annoyed, but didn't say anything at first. Then one day I came home and found the wrong lock locked again. I went in pissed off and opened the fridge to get something to eat. There was a book in the fridge that I had never seen before. I collected old books, and this one was published in the early 1900s, which creeped me out completely because it was like it had been left for me. I finally called my landlady and asked if she was going into my apartment and told her what had happened. She freaked out, said the last person who lived there was a really creepy guy with a mental health and drug problems. She got all the locks changed that day, and it never happened again. So I guess the guy who lived there before was breaking into her apartment. He still had like a key. This happened to a friend of mine. It's a Sunday. She comes home to her apartment from running errands around 1 p.m. She was in med school at this time, so she pretty much parked herself at the kitchen table and studied for the next 5 to 6 hours. She's sitting there and looks up to see a dude casually stroll out of her bedroom. No other entrances. She's sitting by the front door. So he's been there the entire time she's been home. He pauses at the doorway to her kitchen between her and the door. She basically froze. Then her phone rang and kind of startled both of them. She ran to get the phone and he ran out the door. She moved and got an enormous dog. He was in her apartment the whole time. I used to live by myself in an apartment, and that was like my biggest fear. Every time I would come home, I would check my entire apartment before like I would allow myself to get comfortable, because I was always scared that there was like somebody like hiding under my bed or something. When I was younger, my dad was out of town and my mom let me have a few friends over. We lived right by a pretty busy highway, and over the years had quite a few people knock on our door for help. Like their car broke down, they were lost, accident, etc. While my mom was home with us, a man knocked saying he wanted to borrow the phone. My mother told him he could sit on the porch and use her cell phone. The man kept asking to come inside and asking if my dad was home. He eventually started trying to force his way inside. My mom slammed and locked the door, called 911, and put my friends and I into a closet. It took the police department 20 plus minutes to reach us. By that time, my mom had called our neighbor, and he came over with his shotgun and made the guy lay on the ground until the police arrived. Why do the police always be taking so long?
My mom was kidnapped, blindfolded, taken to a dark place she still isn't sure was even a man-made structure, and then tied to a chair. The guy that took her kept talking to her the entire time. She has never told me details except that the man was crazy. After a while, she started talking to him, asking him questions, getting him to talk to her about less crazy stuff. She isn't sure how long this went on, just that it was a long time. After quite some time, the man, whom she never saw directly or recognized the voice of, told her, "I don't know why, but I need to let you go." My guess is that she humanized herself enough to him so that he couldn't go through with whatever it was he had initially kidnapped her for. He loaded her back up into the car, dropped her off, still blindfolded, at a convenience store up the road from where she lived, told her to count to 1,000 before taking the blindfold off, then he left. After she got home and told her parents, they didn't believe her and thought she was making it up so that she wouldn't get in trouble for being out too late. I've always thought that, like, if I was kidnapped or something, I would try to, like, humanize myself. I think I saw that on an episode of, like, Grey's Anatomy or something.
Bet, I'm back with another spooky story. But this one's a little bit different. Have you guys ever heard about Erica, Bamboo's wife, the lady who worked for the devil for 18 years? So Erica was born in Kenya, and she remembers growing up that her father was very financially stable, so her family never had to worry about money. She always had everything she needed as a child. Around 3 years old, her grandmother came to visit, and everything would just go to shit. So Erica was born to born-again Christian parents. However, her dad's side of the family were a bunch of sorcerers. That means his mom, including his sister, his grandmother. Basically, Erica was the 4th generation sorcerer. And every new generation is supposed to be more powerful than the previous generation. So Erica's parents, being born-again Christians, would only expose her to Christianity and God. However, around 3 years old, when the dad's mother, her grandmother, came to visit, everything went to hell about 2 months after that. Well, they winded up having to move from Kenya to Uganda. And at this point, even though they were living separately, they were more so under the grandmother's care because the grandmother would take care of a lot of bills. And the grandmother would also spend a lot of time with Erica, which was completely normal, and the parents never suspected anything of it, even though the grandmother would give Erica these herbs and these medicines and things like that. They always assumed it was for the best. And as Erica is growing up, she's getting deeper into Christianity, and that is bothering her grandmother because she is supposed to be the most powerful sorcerer of the family. So one day she decided that she would take Erica and she would then initiate her into Satanism. Erica was just 8 years old. So her grandmother took her to this gravesite where the grandmother's mother was buried, and she made them spend the night in the cemetery. So she laid on top of the grandmother's grave, and she also made Erica lay on top of the grandmother's grave. They spent the night sleeping in the cemetery on top of the grandmother's grave. Yes, she was a sorcerer. And that day was the first time that she would then travel through the spirit world. She left her body, her soul left her body, and she started traveling around through the spirit world. There she met her ancestors, the ones that came before her, and the sorcerers, obviously a line of sorcerers. She met some uncles, she met some cousins, and, grandmothers. And she also met the angel of death. Erica really wanted to stress that you are not your physical body. Your physical body is simply an instrument to move you through the physical world. However, there is an entire spiritual world that exists. And in the spiritual world is where everything begins and ends. The spiritual world moves much faster than the physical world. She describes the speed of the spirit world to be like thunder and lightning. Your soul is the real you, and it is a replica of your physical body. Well, in the spirit world, she would meet the angel of death, who gave her an assignment. She said some of her assignments included, but not limited to, causing accidents, breaking up marriages, and disturbing ministry. She said when she woke up, she was obviously petrified, and she returned to her parents and she returned to her life, and at that point, she started going to this school. And before the initiation, she was performing really well in school. But then when she returned to school, she started just acting up. And she was not the one to be played with, because the second she realized what she was able to do, she would cause absolute havoc to anybody who messed with her. Her teachers. If any of her teachers pointed her out or tried to embarrass her, she said later at night, she would go to sleep and she would allow her soul to leave her body, and she would visit those teachers. And in the spirit realm, she would fight them. they would be completely unaware, just getting beat up by this girl. And the next day they would wake up and they would have swollen fists and like marks on their bodies, as if like they actually went through a fight, as if it wasn't just a dream. So students and teachers really started to become aware of Erica. And at that point, she had left that school and went over to another school called Victoria something. This is still in Uganda. Now, this is when Erica's auntie, her dad's sister, would step into the picture. Her auntie, a sorcerer, was just not feeling the idea that Erica was growing up in this Christian home and worshiping God. This would seriously take away from who Erica is meant to be, and she was not having it. So she somehow managed to convince Erica's parents to let Erica come live with them. And at that point, it wasn't that hard to convince them, because Erica was becoming a troubled kid. And over at her auntie's house is where she was introduced to secular music, to alcohol, to, partying and all the lit things about life. Things that she hadn't experienced when she was living with her parents. And her auntie would take Erica deeper into Satanism. She went on to have an entire journey where she was working with the actual devil itself for 18 years, where she completed many assignments, and she says she also met a lot of people's favorite celebrities. And she said that she understood that really amazing musicians and singers were either from the kingdom of God or from the kingdom of darkness. She also says that a lot of stuff that we use on earth, like a lot of products and even technology, come from underneath Lake Victoria. Well, if you guys haven't heard this story, because I'm not sure, let me know and I will definitely continue this story. It would definitely be in multiple parts because this is a long story. This is 18 years. I watched the entire hour interview and went on a deep dive, so you don't have to. And I'm probably gonna post them on my YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. We are so close to 4,000 subscribers, you guys. And let me know if you guys want me to talk about the music industry and like everything that's going on in there, because I think that's another video I'm interested in making. No, for real, follow me on Instagram so I know that it's freaking real. And make sure you leave a comment, follow me on TikTok, and yeah, I love you abducted humans. You guys are the best.
What the fuck was that? Bro!
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
Hello, babes. Let me tell you a story. So yesterday we had a hurricane in Los Angeles. I'm from Houston. I've lived through Katrina. I did not leave the South Side for this! Anyways, we had a hurricane. I decided to take the day to do some household chores. So I was cleaning out my closet, having a grand old time, listening to music, when all of a sudden, the bells that were strung up on the wall of my room started ringing. I thought to myself, the hurricane. The winds are picking up. It's shaking the walls. I looked outside to see that the trees were standing still. Not a wind blown at all. All of a sudden, the music I was playing stopped. The bells still ringing. I realized I was in the presence of the unknown. I had conjured up a spirit. I said aloud, "Hello?" To which I heard no response. The ghost left me on red. I walked over to my phone and I looked to see that I got an alert that there was an earthquake, and that's why my phone stopped playing music, because it got an alert. That's why the walls were shaking and the bells were ringing. I was terrified. It was so scary. But my immediate reaction was to say, "Hello?" I blame the media! What? I'm a cliche. I'm the white girl that says, "Hello?" and then I get shanked. I'm half white. It's not right. That's not white. Movies are powerful, babes. They have influence that's deeply embedded in my soul. Hello? And listen, I know my accent's a bit shabby, okay? I'm working on it. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean the world doesn't need it. Thank you. Goodbye.